Here today on NewsX World. 2 security personnel, including an officer and 5 terrorists, have been killed in a suicide attack in northwestern Pakistan. Police say the bomber rammed an explosive-laden motorbike into an armoured security vehicle in the Saradargah area in Bannu district in Khyber, a province. Several others were injured. The blast badly damaged the vehicle. No group has claimed responsibility so far, but officials suspect the Pakistani Taliban, known as the TTP, which has carried out similar attacks in the region. The assault comes amid a surge in militancy in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which borders Afghanistan. Earlier this week, another suicide attack in Bannu district killed 11 security personnel. Indonesia has been appointed Deputy Commander for Operations in Gaza's International Stabilization Force under Trump's Board of Peace. The deployment will be staged across 5 sectors with up to 20,000 personnel planned, and Indonesia is readying 1,000 troops by April. Indonesian forces will focus strictly on humanitarian protection and will not engage in combat or disarmament. Alongside Indonesia, Morocco, Kazakhstan, Kosovo and Albania will contribute troops, while Egypt and Jordan will train local police. The ISF aims to ensure security, support demilitarization and enable safe delivery of aid across Gaza. Let's listen in.
Saya kira bertahap, karena tadi seperti saya sampaikan, tahapan yang ada di sana juga dibagi menjadi beberapa sektor. Detailnya belum, tapi kurang lebih nanti ada 5 sektor. Diperkirakan total pasukan yang akan ada di sana adalah 20.000 atau mungkin lebih di seluruh sektor ini, tapi ini merupakan sesuatu yang sifatnya progresif. Kemarin kita juga sudah menyampaikan, Pak Presiden sudah menyampaikan komitmen kita, dan saya juga sempat menanyakan kira-kira kapan pasukan ini akan dikirim. Jawabannya ya secepatnya mereka akan siapkan timeline.
We are now being rejoined by Dr. Satura Nagao. Thank you for joining us back here on NewsX World. How might Indonesia balance its leadership responsibilities with perceptions of neutrality among Palestinian and Israeli communities?
In this case, of course, if Hamas disarm, it is possible for the international forces to deploy in Gaza and their operation will be successful. But the problem is Hamas does not have the will to disarm. And without disarming, Hamas will continue to operate, and it is not acceptable for Israel to maintain the ceasefire. So that's why, indeed, this Indonesia's will is currently just showing will, and it is very difficult for the international force to deploy in the Gaza just now, I think. But view from this situation, expressing will itself is meaningful. Firstly, in the Board of Peace meeting, Indonesia shows a presence because of this. And the other country also shows the will is they show their contribution. This means that sending the diplomatic message is possible. Firstly, for the United States, they contribute and they show the presence. Another thing is showing the many people in the Middle East, Islamic friends. In this case, they try to contribute. So in both cases, diplomatically, this showing their will itself is meaningful diplomatically. So that's why Indonesia is getting benefit diplomatically. That is this expression, I think.
Thank you, Dr. Suturo Nagao, for joining us here today on NewsX World. We are now being joined again by Matti Zwei. Thank you for joining us back here today on NewsX World. What challenges could Indonesia face as deputy commander in a highly volatile and politically charged environment like Gaza?
Well, first thing, it's very interesting that they choose Indonesia, because Indonesia is one of the only one that has not a diplomatic relation with Israel. When you mean to stabilize the area, it means to be in good terms with both sides, the Palestinians and the Israelis. And Indonesia is the only one that has no diplomatic relations, as I said. But from the other side, for years, President Subianto now and also the ones before, they have maintained a lot of contact with Israel, and for different political reasons, they didn't establish diplomatic relations. So there are good relations anyway. So Israel doesn't see as bad as they see another countries like Turkey to going inside and trying to stabilize the situation, but only for the side of Hamas. So they think they can be neutral as Kosovo and the other Albanians and the other countries in stabilizing there. But what you said before, that how they can maintain the peace, I mean, their mandate is different. That one from the UNIFIL in South Lebanon, for instance. UNIFIL in South Lebanon, they have really, they cannot commit any relation with weapons or trying to dismantle weapons from Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. But in this case, they should, in principle, fulfill the agreement of dismantling Hamas weapons, if not for good, and then for the bad means. So theoretically, they are going to engage with Hamas, maybe in some kind of clashes, trying to reinforce the agreement. But let's see what is going to happen on the ground. If the Hamas is not going to dismantle themselves, this is going to come to a conflict with Israel that is going to be this as a breachment of the agreement, and is going to try to enforce by themselves in the future all what the Hamas is doing with their weapons and trying to rebuild maybe their capabilities in tunnels or training, etc. So if they are not going to really reinforce the agreements, also all this group of forces, including the Indonesians, are not going to fulfill what they must do there in Gaza.
Thank you so much, Matti, for joining us here today on NewsX World.